What's going on, guys? This is another episode here, Nolan's Pod. As I told you guys yesterday, I'm gonna be doing another episode today. And I told you guys that was gonna be on NBA Inside the Stuff or NBA on TNT, whatever you want to call it. And then I told you guys that I was gonna be talking about Skip Bayless being out at FS1. NBA, but first NBA on TNT. It's going to be in its last year, this upcoming season. The 2024-2025 season will be the end of the NBA being on TNT, as the NBA has a new media rights deal, and TNT was not able to match the offer to keep the rights with TNT. So instead, it's going to Amazon Prime. ESPN and ABC retain their rights to keep airing basketball games on ESPN and ABC. And then the other one is NBC. NBC is going to be the other one that's going to be airing basketball games after starting in 2025-2026. Obviously, we had read a couple of days ago or seen blogs that TNT was trying to match the offer with Amazon Prime. About a day or two later, which is Wednesday, today's Friday, so Wednesday the NBA comes out and says that TNT did not match the offer. Now you had a lot of people, me, one of those people, like, man, come on TNT, match the offer. We need to keep basketball on TNT, not only because you got Shaq, Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, Ernie Johnson, those four. You sit there and you have a laugh, but before you watch the game, you're laughing. Before you watch the game, you're laughing because all four of those guys do their part. They all funny. They all played the game before, so they're going to provide you with the knowledge that you need to know before that game comes on. And then they always have their jokes. They always getting on each other, you know what I'm saying? Always running to the board, always doing crazy things. You know what I'm saying? Just their personality. So it's bigger than basketball. And if you watch the NBA on TNT over the course of time, you would know that TNT basketball being on TNT, you would know that that's huge. That's you can't replace it. You really can't replace it. So with Amazon taking over, a lot of people, myself included, really don't know how to feel about it. But we know that it won't be the same without the NBA being on TNT and without seeing Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith, and Ernie Johnson on the same set. Now, I know you guys might be thinking, TNT's they're gonna let all those guys go if they choose. They're gonna be free agents if they choose to be. So the only problem with that is Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kenny Smith, they're probably leaving, more than likely, and going to another network. That's cool. The only problem with that is Charles Barkley just said after the finals that he's probably retiring, since the NBA's not going to be airing games on TNT anymore. And then Ernie Johnson's been with Turner Sports since 1990, so he doesn't want to leave because he's loyal to TNT. So he doesn't want to leave. And they do golf on TNT, they do baseball. Ernie calls those things. So Charles Barkley wants to retire, possibly. And then Ernie Johnson's loyal. So, I mean, next year is truly the last year that we might see all four of those guys. Like I told you guys, Shaq and Kenny Smith probably more than likely going to go to other networks. But those other two, they're extremely loyal to Turner Sports and TNT, that they're not going to be going to another network. Now, that could change. Hopefully it does. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. You have a lot of people saying, the NBA is not going to be on TNT anymore. just leave it where it's at. They had their time. They're good. Just leave the show where it's at. It's TNT forever. That's what it's going to forever be on. Just leave it where it's at. And I get it, but it still would be cool to see all 4 of those guys on another network. The same network, but on another network, obviously. The NBA on TNT started in 1990. Ernie Johnson came in 1990. Kenny Smith joined the show in 1998. Charles Barkley joined the show in 2000. And then you had C-Web, Chris Webber on there until 2011. And then after that, Shaq came in 2011 after Shaq retired. And he's been on there ever since. So, those guys have been on there a while. And 2024, 2025 is the last season of it. The other thing is, you got to think about the broadcasters. You got to think about the people like Reggie Miller, Kevin Harlan, the Stan Van Gundy's, Jamal Crawford, Candace Parker. You also got to think about the people at on NBA TV, because NBA TV and TNT, they're the same thing. They're all Turner Sports, all in the same building. They all air in the same building. They're Turner Sports. My thing is, we know TNT's going out the door. NBA TV is the same thing. NBA TV is the same thing too. What's going to happen with NBA TV? That's what I want to know. So is NBA TV going to stop airing games too, or what's the deal with that? That's a question that I have that I would like to know. What's going to happen with NBA TV? Are they going to be airing games? What are they in a situation where they can't be either? I mean, I don't, I would like to know that, but the broadcasters, the play-by-play guys that cause these games, they're going to be free agents. You're going to have the other networks that's going to be trying to make them an offer. So, people are going to be gunning to get Reggie Miller. People are going to be gunning to try to get Kevin Harlan. You got up and coming Jamal Crawford. You got up and coming Candace Parker. And then you got the guys that work for NBA TV like Greg Anthony, Sam Mitchell, Isaiah Thomas, Smitty, Steve Smith, 3D, Dennis Scott. You got those guys that work for NBA TV. What's going to happen with them too? And that's my question that I would like to know. So I've seen some blogs. As recently as last night, I've seen some blogs. I've seen that NBC is planning on making Dwayne Wade, NBC is planning on making Dwayne Wade a broadcaster on their NBC program. Okay. And then Mike Tirico, who does Sunday Night Football, is probably going to be calling those games too. I seen that last night too. So, it's going to be interesting to see the free agent broadcasters that's going to come available after this. So, it's going to be the end of an era. It's going to be weird without seeing those 4 guys on the same set. It's going to be weird not seeing the NBA on TNT, but it's also bringing back something old because the NBA used to originally air on NBC. So it's bringing back something old, but it's still, it's still sad and disappointing because, as fans of the show, as fans of basketball, we all wanted TNT. And as fans of those guys, we all wanted TNT to match that offer with Amazon Prime. Obviously, it didn't get done, and this is where we're at. So, 2024, 2025 is the last season of the NBA on TNT. That's a wild exit. This next exit is wild too, but not surprising. Not wild to me personally, and not surprising to me personally, but it's wild to, maybe some other people. Skip, speaking of this, we're talking about Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley and Skip Bayless do not get along. That's no secret at all. They hate each other. They can't stand each other. They threaten each other on live TV. They don't get along at all. And that's no secret. So Skip Bayless is out at FS1. FS1, if you don't know, is Fox Sports 1. Fox Sports is the same thing as Fox. So if you're watching the news on Fox, that's the same thing as FS1, which is FS1's a sports channel, and Fox is a local channel, obviously. But Skip Bayless is out at FS1. He's going to finish up the remainder of his contract. He's going to finish up the remainder of Undisputed this summer. Sometime this summer will be his last show. If you remember, at this time last year, after the finals ended last year, it was Shannon Sharp's last show. And, you know, Shannon Sharp had that unfamous exit from the show. You know, they kind of kicked him off, you might as well say. Well, you know, and Skip Bayless had a lot to do with that. And, you know, it was just wrong at the time. But, you know, that karma always has its ways of coming back around and getting you. And that's exactly what's happening to Skip Bayless. I would tell you guys that before throwing any shade on Skip Bayless, you have to give him some level of respect for what he did. He was an American sports columnist. He was a commentator, a television personality. He wrote for the Dallas Cowboys all those many years. You know, he wrote he wrote columns at ESPN on ESPN.com. You know, so he's done it all. He's done radio. He's done it all. He's had a very lengthy career, and he ended up turning that into sports debate. I would tell you guys that Skip Bayless is a huge reason why we see Stephen A. Smith debating in the debate format, why we see Shannon Sharp debating in the debate format, and why we see a lot of these other shows debating in a debate format. Skip Bayless was really the first person to really start that. So you have to give credit where credit is due. A lot of times, Skip says off the wall things that you don't agree with, but you do have to give him credit where credit is due. He is a huge reason as to why we have these debate shows. He put Stephen A. Smith on. He put Shannon Sharp on. He put those guys on. He put a lot of different guys on. The one thing that a lot of people are pissed off about is that Skip knows how to rub people the wrong way. Over time, he's put people on, but he also has rubbed people the wrong way, and that has led people to not wanting to work with him. As you've seen with Stephen A. Smith, as you've seen with Shannon Sharp, as you've seen with moderator Jenny Taft. A lot of people have not wanted to work with Skip. Obviously, his attitude is one of the reasons, and then Skip is one of those people, you know. Skip is one of those people. If he says something, he believes in it, and you cannot convince him otherwise. Good luck trying to convince him, because whatever he says, he believes it, and he's going to stand on it, and he's going to argue you down until he's blue in the face. Even if he's wrong, he is going to argue you down like he is blue in the face, even if he's wrong. And there's been times where he's been flat out wrong, but you cannot tell him that he's wrong. He's right all the time. So you have to give respect to Skip, but you also have to know that he's burnt his bridges. After he left ESPN, he went to FS1. He starts a show with Shannon Sharp. He put Shannon Sharp on the map, because you remember, I think Shannon Sharp was at CBS as a studio analyst, And it didn't go really well for Shannon Sharpe, and they let him go. So in 2016, Skip Bayless left ESPN, went to FS1, and started the show Undisputed, and he put Shannon on the map. Shannon always thanked him for putting him on and for getting him in the position that he is today. No question about that. But the only problem with Skip is, it's nice that you put people on, but you cannot go on air disrespecting people and taking shots at people and expecting people not to say nothing back to you. It don't work like that. You know, that's what he's done over the years. He takes shots at people. He says little slick stuff to people, and then he look at you like you're not supposed to say nothing back. And that's how him and Shannon's relationship got tarnished. When you're on a show, and a debate show at that, you always want to keep the main thing the main thing. You don't want to never let it get out of hand. When you're arguing about the sports, me and my dad argue about sports all the time. We're arguing about sports. We don't go into all this other stuff. We don't take personal shots at each other and shots at each other's lives. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting, personal shots. We're arguing, we keep sports about sports, and that's that. So in the debate show, Skip is arguing about sports, and then he's taking shots at Shannon Sharpe personally. Like in Shannon Sharpe's life, he's just taking shots outside of sports. You cannot do that. You can't do that and then expect Shannon to just sit there and take it while you taking personal shots at him. That's how their relationship got tarnished in the first place. That's the first thing that rubbed the bosses at FS1 the wrong way. The second thing that rubbed the bosses the wrong way is that tweet that he made about Damar Hamlin. Remember when Damar Hamlin died on that field 2 years ago? He died. He practically died on the field. Skip Bayless makes a insensitive tweet saying they should keep the game going, and that it really doesn't matter that Damar Hamlin was on the field, laid out, basically lost his life until they revived him. Skip made an insensitive post saying they should keep the game going, and this game matters because it's playoff seedings. Playoff seedings matter with this game because the game got canceled after that, you know. And Shannon comes back the next day after he wasn't on the show because of that tweet, and made Shannon that mad that he was not on the show the next day because of that tweet. So Shannon comes back on the show probably 2 days prior, and you know, he's saying what he's saying, and he politely tells Skip, you know, you should take that tweet down because a lot of people had a problem with that tweet. That tweet was very insensitive, and you know, you just shouldn't have tweeted that. Have some sympathy for the guy. You know what I'm saying? And he never took that tweet down. That's the second problem the bosses at FS1 had with Skip. The first problem, him and Shannon Sharpe, him taking shots at Shannon. The second problem, the Damar Hamlin tweet. The third problem, he was a big reason why Shannon Sharpe was let go by FS1. Because he felt like he didn't need Shannon no more. He felt like he could do it on his own with other people. He didn't need Shannon no more. And him and Shannon's relationship got so bad that it's like, I don't need you no more. I could do this by myself. I could do this with somebody else, and we could be as successful. You know what happened to that? Skip copied the first take format. He copied the first take format. He got about 4 or 5 other people in after Shannon left. He got Keyshawn Johnson in there. He got Michael Irvin in there. He got Richard Sherman in there. He got Paul Pierce in there. He got Rachel Nichols in there. He's debating against all 4 of them, and he's the moderator. He's hosting the show. He's the moderator after he did not have to do that before they let go of Shannon Sharpe. Now you're trying to hire these other guys, have them on the show, copy the first take format, and all those guys I just mentioned. I love all those guys. They do a great job covering sports and all that, but those guys are not Shannon Sharpe. That was the third reason the bosses got rubbed the wrong way. Because after that, the ratings suffered tremendously. After Shannon has left, the ratings suffered tremendously, and it was Skip's idea, and he played a role into Shannon leaving. And not only did he play a role into Shannon Sharp leaving, it backfired in a huge way because if you look at the ratings on Undisputed, you would be asking yourself, why are they not cut off already? Why are they not cut off already? The ratings are so bad, and with Shannon at ESPN, the ratings on First Take were good before Shannon ever came to First Take. The ratings were always good. Shannon comes to First Take, the ratings skyrocketed even more. They've been number one. First Take has been number one for 12 years. If you look at Shannon's podcast, Club Shay Shay, if you look at Shannon's other podcast, The Nightclub with Chad Ochocinco, the ratings on Shannon's podcast with Club Shay Shay and Nightcap, those ratings are better than Undisputed's ratings. First Take is way better than Undisputed's ratings. So Skip, you did what you did. It backfired. Shannon Sharp's more successful than you. He's made a career out of himself post-football. And now you out the door. You 1 foot out the door because they like, this is it for you, Skip. You know, Skip's going to do his last show late this summer, and that's it. They still plan to do Undisputed without Skip, as I've seen. So, you know, what Skip Bayless does next remains to be seen. Nobody knows what he's going to do. A lot of people think this is the end of his career because ESPN put out a statement the day after FS1 said that Skip's going to be doing his last show pretty soon. ESPN put out a statement saying, respectfully, we don't want you. And I'm kind of paraphrasing. Respectfully, we don't want you. We respectfully decline. Like, you're not coming back to ESPN. We tried that once, and it happened. Everything happened. You're not coming back. So, those are 3 things that burnt Skip in a way. But at the end of the day, you also have to give him the credit he deserves. So, with TNT and Skip going out the door, it's sad, but it's a new beginnings. And I did want to come on here and talk about that. Let me know what you think about Skip not being on FS1 anymore. Let me know what you think about it being the last year of NBA on TNT. That's all I have for you guys today. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And we out of here.